The 26.2 changes have been released, and we have got a good mix of champion buffs and nerfs, with a couple of the new ADC items receiving buffs, while Bandle Pipes is going to be hit with a solid nerf. And we are going to be breaking it all down, everything for you guys in today's video. And by the end of this video, you're going to be completely caught up to speed with what we can expect to hit live servers on Thursday, January 22nd. And if you guys want to stay ahead of the meta for Season 16, then SkillCapped is the place to be. We've got a new course for this year that our challenger players will be working on, and it revolves around keeping you up to date with all the new meta trends. As soon as we discover something new, you can expect a new video to go live within that course, breaking down exactly what we found. Whether it be a new build, a new strategy, or rune setup, SkillCapped subscribers, they're going to be the first to know with access to this course. And on top of this, we've got our weekly commentaries where our challenger experts walk you through how to carry out the exact rank that you are stuck in. And then, of course, you're going to get access to our entire catalog of premium courses, as you're going to be mastering wave control, vision, trading, and macro in no time. And the best part of it all is that we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, which means you climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, or you get your money back and we don't even ask questions. So what are you waiting for? Click that link in the top right corner of the screen right now, or in the description below, to get ahead of everyone else for Season 16. So we're going to start off today's video by covering all the item changes, and it's really not a shocker to see Bandle Pipes on the nerf list here. The cost of Bandle Pipes is going to be up from 2,000 to 2,300 gold. So from being 200 gold cheaper than Locket to now 100 gold more expensive in the span of a patch. Now, we honestly thought the nerf would just consist of Bandle Pipes having the same cost of Locket, but Riot even went just a little bit further than that. Now, to be fair, Bandle Pipes was far and beyond the most optimal rush item for most melee supports in 25.24, so it's now going to be brought back closer to parity with Locket and no longer going to be the no-brainer rush. Still going to be a great purchase if you want more offensive power, but if the enemy team has a bunch of burst strength, then Locket is worth considering again instead. The brand new Zeal item for Season 16, called Fiend Hunter Bolts, is going to receive a few buffs for this patch, with its attack speed going up from 40 to 45%, passive guaranteed crit multiplier being increased from 75 to 80%, and bonus true damage on crit is going from 10 to 15%. So the champions that we can expect to gain some power from this as a result of these buffs include Yunara, Zeri, Twitch, while some Vayne, Ashe, and Kai'Sa players have been taking the item as well, but not at a super high rate. Hex Optics was the other new ADC item added for Season 16, and it's getting a buff, with the AD going from 50 to 55, and distance away from enemies to receive max damage from its passive being lowered from 700 to 600. So the fact this passive range is going down is going to make the item a lot more viable. And for example here, if you're running the item on Caitlyn, then this is going to be a huge buff because Kate's auto range is 650. So prior to this buff, she wasn't actually able to get the max value from the passive, even if she spaced perfectly. Jinx should be loving this buff because her range with Fishbones is 725 when she has her Q maxed out. So the fact you won't need to space perfectly away from the enemy to get max damage is going to be really, really nice. Twitch, Tristana, and Kindred may end up liking the item more as well, so we're going to have to keep an eye on these buffs when they hit live servers, and if any new optimal builds pop up, then we're going to be sure to update you guys. Moving on to the champion buffs now. First on the list is going to be Aatrox. Aatrox has started off this season sitting around a 48% win rate, so Riot has decided to give him a passive bonus damage buff going from 4 scaling to 8% to 4 scaling to 12%. And then Q monster bonus damage is up from 15 to 25. Jungle Aatrox has had an abysmal win rate to start Season 16, so even with this buff, we really don't expect him to become meta. Ashe is going to receive a small buff for this patch, with AD growth going up from 3 to 3.5. Now, Ashe wasn't even in that bad of a spot this past patch, and when you factor in that Fiend Hunter is buffed for 26.2, Ashe is gaining a good chunk of power and should be back in the S tier after a short hiatus down in A. Master Yi will receive an armor scaling buff, with growth going from 4.2 to 4.5. Yi's Q on hit modifier is being increased as well from 65 to 75%. Yi was around a 49% win rate to start the season, so Riot likely intends for these buffs to give him a 1% boost, so he's back at 50%. Talia Jungle is going to be getting a couple of buffs, with her Q bonus monster damage going up from 20 flat to 20 scaling to 40, and then E monster damage is being increased from 190 to 225%. Despite her lower play rate as a jungler, Talia's been above the 50% win rate mark to start the year, so she's going to be a really interesting jungler to track with these buffs being issued. Low elo, she very likely remains a mediocre champ, but for the higher ranks, we could definitely see a priority rise just a little bit. Riot has 2 buffs lined up for Varus, with his Q max base damage being increased from 80 scaling to 360 to 80 scaling to 400, while W on hit damage is going up from 6 scaling to 38 to 8 scaling to 44. So we know that Riot's buffing Varus because he has a 47% win rate as a bot laner. But there's a bit of an issue with this because top lane Varus is actually above 50%. So if anything, these buffs just make top lane Varus that much stronger of a pick, while likely not even being enough to boost the priority of bot lane Varus. You max W out first on top lane Varus, and you can run the new on-hit build of Dusk and Dawn into Nashor. So if you enjoy playing those off-meta picks, then top lane Varus is something to highly consider for 26.2. Now we're going to have a full extensive breakdown of this build in our meta updates course, and our challenger top laner Strompist already has a full game commentary out where he's playing the build, so lots of content if you're looking to pick him up. Viego is going to receive a few buffs, with his attack speed growth being increased from 2.25 to 2.75%. Q on hit crit ratio is going from 50 to 70%, while Q active crit ratio is being increased from 50 to 60%. So definitely some warranted buffs for Viego because he has started the year off struggling just a little bit with under a 48% win rate, so these changes should bring him up to at least 49%. All right, looking at the champion nerfs now. Gwen is first up with her passive monster cap dropping from 5 to 3, while AP ratio is down from 10 to 5%. Gwen has been extremely powerful with the new Dusk and Dawn item to start Season 16, so this nerf definitely shouldn't kill her, but bring her back down to earth just a little bit. Jace jungle is going to be hit with a nerf as his Q bonus monster damage is dropping from 50 to 25. And now this one's just a little bit odd because Jace's jungle was below a 49% win rate in 26.1, so there's going to be a real chance he's not even worth playing after this nerf. Riot has a few nerfs lined up for Lilia, with her passive monster heal AP ratio going down from 15 to 9%. Q damage AP ratio is going to take a small hit too, dropping from 35 to 30%. Malphite has been an OP top lane champ for a pretty dang long time, so he's going to get a few different nerfs for 26.2. E damage is going down from 80 scaling to 240 to 60 scaling to 200. E mana cost is going to be increased from 50 flat to 50 scaling to 70. R cooldown is going to stay the same at the first rank in the spell, but be increased by 10 seconds at rank 2 and by 20 seconds at rank 3. And then Jungle Malphite does end up getting hurt the most here, with his W monster damage being lowered from 200 to 180%. Nunu has been the highest win rate champ in the game through 26.1, so he's getting tagged with 3 different nerfs here. Q cooldown is going up from 12 scaling to 8 seconds to 13 scaling to 9 seconds. W max damage is dropping from 180 scaling to 360 to 150 scaling to 330. And then E damage per hit is being lowered from 16 scaling to 48 to 14 scaling to 42, while EAP ratio is down from 15 to 12%. So considering Nunu has been a 54% win rate jungler in 26.1, even though these are some pretty decent nerfs, he shouldn't lose enough win rate to where he's a bad pick. Sivir has been a huge winner for this season due to the Essence Reaver changes, so Riot's nerfing her armor growth, going from 4.45 to 4, and attack speed growth takes a hit, dropping from 2 to 1.6%. Smolder is another ADC who's been excelling with Essence Reaver, so his armor growth is being reduced from 4.7 to 4. And then for the final change of the patch, we have a nerf to Zed jungle, as his clear speed won't be as fast for next patch, with passive monster damage being heavily nerfed from 180 to 120%. Okay guys, one last thing. Our rank up guarantee is absolutely insane. It's kind of like signing up for the gym and then just getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with the top players, the rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb as easy as possible. If you're ready to level up, just visit skillcapped.com and literally see the difference. So there you have it, everyone. Those are every one of the changes that we can expect to hit live servers for this upcoming Thursday, January 22nd. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.